Hello Revit users, it's your favorite structural engineer again, and today we will cover the basics of creating a column. So while we're in our plan view, let's navigate to the structural tab or even architectural tab, because we can create both of those columns. Let's select column over here, and we have different options how we can create them. We can create a vertical column, slanted column, we can create column at grids, or even at architectural column places. So for now, let's create a vertical column. Before we press somewhere in your plan view, let's select from depth to height. Let's select top constraint. We can even create an unconnected column. Let's do that. For example, I want it to be 3,500 millimeters of height. And now let's create somewhere random places, right? We can create a column with rotate after placement function over here. So now when we create a column, it will let us to rotate it. Here it is. If you want to create multiple columns at the same time, and we have a grid system in our plan view, we can create them at grids. And now the Revit will ask us to select grids, and in those intersections of these grids, the columns will be created. Hit finish and go to the 3D view to see the result. If you select a column, in its instance parameters you can see there's an option moves with grids. It means that if I'm going to drag this grid, all those columns moves together. And if, for example, I untick this mark over here, now that column stays in the same position it was before. Now let's try creating a slanted column. Select slanted column, and here we have different options how we can create it. The first click means the base of this column will be created at level 1. This is the offset. I'm going to go with 0. And the second click, it means that it's going to be on the second floor. And I'm going to make an offset of 0. And now if I press the first click in the intersection between those grids, it means that it's going to be in that intersection on level 1. And if, for example, I drag it over here, let's say like this, and now it's going to be the click on the level 2. Here it is. And now if we're going to go to a 3D view, I'm going to see this result. When slanted column is created, we can go ahead and check the instance parameters we have. But first, let's change the scale to 1 to, let's say, 20, just for us to be more easy to understand what's going on in our view. Now let's select our slanted column, and over here we can have different options. For example, we can change the base cut style. Let's say I want to have a horizontal one, so our base it's cut like this. And I also want to change the top extension cut. I want to make it vertical, like this. As well, we can change the way it is styled. So let's change from slanted endpoint driven to angle driven. Now we can rotate our column like this. If you change it to endpoint driven, it will give us these shape handles over here. If we have a wall or roof created or even a ceiling, we can always attach our roof to a top base like this, and we can always detach it. If we want to add a connection to our column created, we can always go to the structural tab, and under the connection section press this little arrow in the right corner. It will show us structural connection settings. From here we can load different connections to our project. For example, I want to create a base connection for our column. Let's select base plate. You can always filter the connection group over here, but I'm going to go with the base plate over here and hit OK. Now it is loaded in our project, so we can go ahead, press connection. In the properties panel, you can change it to our base plate over here, and let's select our column. And when you select it, Revit will ask us to finish the procedure by pressing enter or space. And now we have our connection created, but if you want to be visible, we have to change our DT level to fine. And here it is our connection. We can always customize our connection properties. Just select your connection, go to edit type, and from here select Modify Parameters, Edit. Here we have different options what you can customize. Base plate layout, let's say plate thickness, base plate dimensions, plate corners, washer plates, anchors and holes. We can add stiffeners or we can change holes. And for example, if we have created more columns, let's say let's go to plan view. Let's create some columns and grids like this. Finish. And if I want to create a connection to all of those columns at the same time, I don't need to select them one by one. I just can select this connection, right mouse click, and propagate connection. It will copy this connection to all of the columns. So thank you again for watching my video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope it was helpful for you. And let's see each other at future videos.